Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Sober Talk. Got a lot to talk about again in Sober Talk. I'm going to wait for people to kind of start showing up. I've got, I guess you could say, current events that I just got to get out in the open. There's a lot more room out here than there is in here, that sort of thing. So we're just going to kind of wait for everyone to kind of get here and do what they do. So we're going to say hi to everybody as they come in. And we're just going to have a good live stream. It's going to be good. We're going to see what's what in this stream. Um, it's definitely going to be interesting. That's for sure. Hmm. So if you've kept up with the Prince Magnum channel, you know that we are nearing that 4,000K marker. Actually, we're coming right up on 3,000 watch hours, which that's only like 1,000 left to get. But I think if I remember correctly, we're like 1,200 away from nailing down having our monetization turned on. What's going on, Sean? Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the live stream. I hope you're in for something interesting this one. Uh, it's definitely going to be an interesting live stream. Lots to talk about. Lots to talk about. That's for sure. Um, I'm going to kind of wait for a few more people to show up. I'm going to talk about current events and how it relates to sobriety and things like that. What's going on, Think Different? I know that this is Think Different's favorite live stream. He always appreciates Sober Talk, um, which I got to give a shout out to Big, to good old Sober Man. I got to holler at him and let him know what's going on. But we're going to talk about it first before we really get into it. Oh, there you go. That's what's up. I know last week we had a little bit of a heartfelt live stream talking about Tanya again. Oh, we're going to talk about some current events that kind of came my way. We'll wait a few more minutes as everyone kind of starts making their way in, and it's just something I need to share. Kind of get out in the open. One of the things about us alcoholics is when we start dealing with problems that are pretty big. Sometimes we might have to make a big decision or something like that. There's times that it's just better we talk about it, get it out in the open, because as an old timer in the program used to say, "Sure, lay it on me, Tago. What do you got?" May not have the right answers, but I could sure as heck try. Whatever you got. If you don't want to put it in the chat, you do not have to. Okay, no one's holding you to that. You're always, if you live inside the U.S. or in Canada, I have been known to answer my phone. What's going on, Kevin? That's what's up. Good to see you, buddy. I'm looking forward to this stream. There you go. The Daniel Show. You changed your name again, buddy. Was Daniel Live forever? You keep changing your name. I get confused easy. Sober Talk is a good place for anyone to kind of talk about what's eating their lunch. I know I'm going to talk about some stuff. Hey, you changed your name on me again. That's all right. That's all right. I still know what to look for. I got a brother named Daniel. Girl problems. Oh, man. Oh, man. That could be a tough one. But generally speaking, Yeah, I seen you got another video out, Kevin. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I seen you got some new videos. Yeah, Sean's in here. He's got decent internet these days. He's been hard to nail down. Um, Lately, it seems like the Prince Magnum channel has been doing about average. Okay. So she's setting the pace. Oh yeah, that's right, Sean. She's kind of set the pace. Follow her lead. Follow her lead. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. If you're just getting to know a gal and you ask her out on a date and she's, she likes you, but, wants to take her time going into the next stage, going out on that date, there's a reason for it. Okay. There's always a reason for it. You don't know what her past relationships are like. You don't even know if she's ever been in a relationship. It's one of those things. Sometimes it's hard to make that first step in a relationship. Give it time. Do not rush. Okay. And the smartest thing you can do with any woman, okay, anything that any man can do for any woman out there is listen. That's the smartest thing any man can do. Listen. Okay. I will tell you right now, you know, that's what's up. That's what's up, Kevin. So you rushed in. Okay. This is your time to kind of back up a little bit. Just kind of take a step back. Hey, you know, I got a little excited there, rushed in a little headstrong, you know, and own it, own up to it, own up to it. I really like you, that sort of thing. And I just got ahead of myself. Let me step back a little bit. Let me step back and always be upfront and honest. Like when I started talking to Princess Faye and I knew that there was going to be a thing that we might actually become a couple. One of the things that I told her straight up honest, I'm looking for a relationship with the chance of getting married. Period. I was straight up honest. Okay. I want to settle down. I want to have something semi-normal. I'm not normal anyways, but I want something that a lot of people take for granted. Settling down, getting married, that sort of thing. That's what I was looking at. So I was straight up honest about that. And that's something that I definitely suggest to people is be honest. I'm just looking to date. Okay. They know right away. You're upfront with them. Don't beat around the bushes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Diego. It means the world to me, Again, be upfront and honest with them. If that is what you're looking for, you straight tell them. And the moment you tell them, hey, I'm looking for a relationship with the possibility of marriage, believe it or not, a lot of ladies will definitely appreciate that more than than you being dishonest or deceiving them or anything like that. Or if you're looking to just go out and have a good time, whatever, and you tell them straight up honest, hey, that's what I'm looking at. I just want to go out. I want to have a good time. I don't know if I'm looking for anything, serious at the moment. That's fine too. A lot of women do appreciate that honesty. Okay. That's one of the big problems nowadays that a lot of people misunderstand. When you're looking at the possibility of starting to date somebody, be straightforward and lay it out on the table. Hey, I'm crazy about you, but I'm not sure if I'm looking for, long term yet. Or I am looking for long term, you know, I am looking for long term and that sort of thing. Whatever the case may be. And, you just straight up, you're straight up honest with them. Don't lie to them, be the honest person. And believe me, Taylor, I don't know many women that would not appreciate you being straightforward and being honest with them. A lot of women will definitely appreciate that if you tell them exactly how you feel, what you're looking for. And if you kind of jumped head first, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with sometimes diving in head first, but sometimes that does scare a little bit, scare some ladies off a little bit because that's a little too bold for them. Funny story. Take y'all back in time for a minute. There's a gal I was interested in. She knew. I laid it all out for her, but she didn't exactly know what type of personality I am. We went out on a date, and we had a great time. But it isn't what she looked for. Um, it isn't what she was looking for. So we parted ways. We're still friends today. We're still friends today. Okay. So she got a little nervous. She backed off a little bit. She only wants to be friends only. Hey, there's nothing wrong with having lady friends. And let me tell you right now, my best friend is my wife. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with that either. Okay. Some of the best relationships start off as friends. You don't know where that could go yet. But also continue to be honest with her, okay? How you feel and things like that. That doesn't mean that that's a funny thing about it. Sometimes it's meant to be, sometimes it's not. Uh, you know, we did do it last Saturday, but we did do it this past Monday. We did a makeup live this past Monday. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, you know, still straight up, it happens, man. It happens. You know, sometimes these things aren't meant to be. Another funny story. Right, right. Yeah, I get it. I'll tell you a funny story. Oh, that's all right. What should you do? There's really not a whole lot you can do. There's really not a whole lot you can do from here. You can't make them want to go out on a relationship, get into a relationship with you like that. If she only wants to be friends, then there's where it has to lie. That's where it has to stay right now. That doesn't mean that it won't, it's just one of those things. Keep that door open, but don't push it open. Basically keep it unlocked and where she knows that that door is open. That's the best you could do right now. That is absolutely the best you can do. Anything more than that, and you're pushing. And you don't want to put it, I'll say right now, you don't want to push because if you push, then you lose out on a friend too. And that's definitely not where you want to go. Believe me, that's not where you want to go. You don't want to lose a good friend. And I'll tell you a funny story. Going back in my history, there's actually been two Tanyas in my life. The first one, we all have heard that story, but there was another one that I've known since high school. And she's still alive and well, four beautiful daughters. That being said, she ended up where it was like when she was with somebody, I was single. And when I was with somebody, she was single. And we always had the inclination that if circumstances would have been different, we'd have a half a gazillion kids, already married and have like a million kids. We knew that back then. What about her is it that you don't like? What about her is it that you don't like, Taya? I mean, if she likes you, I mean, what is it that's necessarily wrong that you're not interested in? Because I'll tell y'all right now, there's really two types of ladies in this world. There's the type of lady that I wouldn't mind taking home to meet my mom, and then there's the type of lady I only take to my bedroom. That's it. That's simple as it gets. Um, you know, ah, you know what though? A lot of times those are the clean slates. Those are the clean slates. Thank you, Kevin. Way to grow that community. That's a funny thing. Sometimes those are the clean slates. Ironically enough, Princess Faye kind of started off in that area. Surprise, surprise. I mean, she had a couple friends, and one of them I don't like that friend, but the other one I think is pretty dang cool. Funny, huh? Just kind of how it goes. Welcome, Charlie. Welcome to the live stream. I haven't seen you in a second. You must be busy and all. This whole pandemic's kept everybody busy. Oh, hey, I understand, Tega. You got my email address. If you need me, holler. We'll see what we could do with this. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Charlie. Yeah, you can holler at me. You can totally holler at me. Shoot me an email and I'll be glad to send you my phone number, all my information on Facebook, Discord, whatever you need. Hardworking. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're now getting a good way in now. What's my email? PrinceMagnum1 at gmail.com. Thank you. Sean on the ball again. That's my buddy right there. I need coffee. So we're gonna fire up the coffee pot. Ooh, bagel bites. That doesn't sound too bad. Thought about making homemade bagels. Something like a homemade bagel sandwich. All right, I tell you, I'll be looking forward to that email. Hang on a second here, or whenever you get an opportunity to send it. That's what's up. All right. Fire up the old coffee pot. Mr. Coffee and I are good friends, let me tell you. Oh, shoot. All right, let's get caught up with current events here at HQ. The new computer is up and running. Brand new computer, brand new desktop. I got to download OBS because there's a few video games I wouldn't mind live streaming for y'all. And the other thing that we got to look at is we got to look at getting Windows Movie Maker on that PC because, well, guess what? I can't edit videos without it. So I got to get Windows Movie Maker installed. And I thought I had it installed, but the version I got was a little too old for the one that I was looking at. So that is what is going on. Oh, that's really awesome, Kevin. That's what's up. So we got a heck of a live stream ahead of us. Yesterday we did kind of like we went through my collection of stuff. I mean, we're talking like some really nice stuff that I've had for a minute. In some cases, just a lot of old stuff. Some of it new. It just depends. I'm a collector by nature. It's just one of them things. Along with that, like I said, still working on setting up Windows Movie Maker and everything. But let me get you caught up. All right. Let me get y'all caught up. Currently, for those that do not know, I'm a maintenance man for McDonald's. And being a maintenance man for McDonald's, I'm more or less the head of my department. So much so that upper management turns to me when there's a big decision that has to be made within maintenance. They're the ones that kind of turn to me, and it's like, what do you want to do, Prince Magnum? And that's really awesome of them to trust me that much. It's one of those things. I'm not officially a manager per se, but I'm unofficially the head of my department, which is kind of cool. Because, sometimes unofficial means an awful lot sometimes, And it's one of those things, all of management there. No, I did not. I haven't yet. I know a lot of people are talking about, everyone's wanting to see a new Dark Knight movie and things like that. I don't know. It's one of those things that I think we need to start exploring other comic book characters a little bit more. I don't want to see any reboots, but I'd like to see new comic book characters that we've not seen done before. Honestly, I'd like to see the Blade story continue. And for those who do not know, I do like certain comic book characters. I lean a little bit. All right, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Got kitchen duty. That's what's up. But I'll tell y'all right now. Oh, that's all good. It's all good. But I would like to see like the Blade story continue. And for those who don't know, Blade is a Marvel Comics character. He kind of falls in the same category as the Punisher, not exactly considered a hero, but not exactly a villain. And I like that. I would like to see more of Blade. I'd like to see um, kind of a continuation of the reboot that we started to see in the early 2000s with Thomas Jane as the Punisher. I don't like what Netflix is doing to the Punisher. I don't want to see any more reboots. I don't want to see any restarts. I just want to see maybe comic book characters that we've not really explored enough of yet. Because I'll be honest with you, I can only handle so much X-Men. I can only handle so much of Batman, and I can only handle so much of Superman, Suicide Squad, all that stuff. We're beating it to death. I want to see other stuff. So honestly, there's a whole genre of right. We keep rebooting like the Amazing Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong. Spider-Man as a kid was one of my all-time favorite. Hey, what's going on, sis? One of my all-time favorite comic book characters back when I was a kid. Spider-Man and Superman were my favorites. I didn't discover Batman until like 1989, and thank you, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is one of my favorite Batmans of all time, but right up there with him is Adam West, and there will be no other Adam West when it comes to Batman. Adam West was the greatest Batman that ever lived. Hands down, bar none. The worst Batman that ever lived was George Clooney. I know some might try to argue that. And the worst, Mr. Freeze was none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. And even he probably even admits that he should have never took that role. He'll even probably tell you that he shouldn't have took that. When it comes to comic book characters, hands down, bar none, the Punisher is my favorite, and I would like to see a continuation of the Punisher, a continuation of Blade. I think after the last Blade movie, Blade Trinity, I think there was kind of a talk that that we would not see any more of shoot. I know who he is, but he just kind of screwed his career up by basically being a dick. So that's just kind of how it is. He'd gotten so big it went to his head. Sometimes that happens. Some of those big stars get too big for their own good, and then nobody wants to work with them, and then they wonder why. Or maybe I'd like to see a continuation of the Night Stalkers from the Blade movies. I'd like to see the Night Stalkers continue in their post-apocalyptic, shoot, I'm surprised our brother even knows who Blade is, so that's where it stands. But anyhow, I started to talk about the current events at work. Basically what ended up happening was, things started kind of coming down the pipe. My backup maintenance, the moment he moved into the maintenance department, kind of made a bad reputation for himself with the rest of the crew. Now, normally it's not a big deal, but the problem whenever you work backup maintenance, you have to still do regular crew stuff. And even every once in a while, even I do. That's just kind of the nature of McDonald's, sometimes you just got to land where you land and do the best you can and do what you do and that sort of thing. Well, this knucklehead took it upon himself to kind of make enemies with everybody except me. So when they moved him to my department in hopes that I might straighten him out, I was unsuccessful because this guy doesn't want to straighten out. He doesn't want to straighten out. He wants to be a dick to everybody. And he won't do it with me because I won't tolerate it. It's like, straighten up, fly right, man. We got a job to do. And on a couple of different occasions, I had to pull him aside and thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Custom URL, to be honest with you, brother. So, I mean, he basically, Well, it turned into where yesterday, Wednesday, basically he trashed the maintenance department more or less. He about wrecked one of the machines, which is about a five. Hey, that's all right, Kevin. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. This knucklehead, more or less, kind of, you know, basically he took a $5,000 piece of equipment and did not do the job correctly. And I had to stop in the middle of doing a very big job and go and take care of that machine so we could use it. Got people placing orders. And he had that thing so messed up. What normally takes me about 20 minutes to a half an hour literally took me right around almost took me a whole hour to get that machine running right. He had done that bad of a job. Uh, and when I called him out on what because I figured out what he did wrong, and when I called him out on it, he denied it. He lied to me. And it's like, no, you don't get to lie to me on this one. And I gave him to the end of the shift to come clean about it. He basically anything he could do wrong to get out of work and everything, that's exactly what he did. And the store manager was present for all of this. She's seen everything that was kind of going on, and I had to pull her aside and tell her, I said, this is what's going on. And finally, she's like, okay, Prince Magnum. Yes, snip him. She's like, Prince Magnum, what do you want to do? And I said, I've got to make, she's like, whatever decision you decide is what I will back up. If you want to continue to let him work in maintenance, then I will turn a blind eye. If you do not want him in maintenance anymore, we will do, I will take him out of maintenance right this second. And if you want him rode up, whatever the case is, that's what we're going to do. And I said, okay. I said, let's wait till the end of the end of his shift, and we'll make a decision. End of the shift came, and basically, I was giving him the opportunity to come clean. If he came up and told me, I got lazy and I tried to do this, and I screwed up the machine, and I'm sorry, you had to fix it. If he'd have told me something like that, I'd have been like, hey, man, at least you were honest with me, Um, you know, if he'd have came up and told me, later on in the day, hey man, I lied to you earlier in the shift. I lied to you. This is what I did. If he'd have told me something like that, shoot, I'd have gave that dude a big old hug and said, at least you were honest with me. At least you came clean. I'd have probably turned a blind eye then. Hey, he came up, he was honest with me. He flat told me, he screwed up, hey, I'd have looked the other way at that point. But that's not what happened. And it's one of those things. At least he would try to redeem himself. That's not what happened. He left it at that. And as a matter of fact, I told him to go home early because of this, because I knew because he wasn't going to come clean. And I'm like, just go home, man. I mean, I'm like, I can't even deal with you right now. I'm so pissed off about this. And I ended up staying over longer. And I approached the store manager. I said, this is what I did. And I said, this is what needs to be done, please. I said, I can't let him work in maintenance. Maintenance has to work autonomously, even in a McDonald's. We really cannot have, we have to work without a manager looking over our shoulder. So we have to work without a babysitter, if you will. No safety net, if you will. And if he's going to lie, then that means that I can't trust him to do the job that he's been given. So in a nutshell, if I can't trust him, then he doesn't need to be in that department. And so now at come this Saturday, he has to go back to doing regular, like cooking in the back in the kitchen area. That's what he'll be doing from here on out. And I will be honest with you, I do feel kind of bad that I had to do this. I had to make this decision. And this decision, this is it for him. Because nobody wants to work with him. He's made too many enemies. Within the managers, the regular crew, nobody wants to work with the dude. And pretty much this is it for him. If he messes up, he's fired. Okay. And then he's got to go home to his woman um, who, is basically a hotshot nurse at a local nursing home. And, he's got to go home and explain, I just got fired from McDonald's. As it is, I mean, he's got to go home and say, well, yeah, you could do that. Legitimately at this point, we technically could. I think my store manager explained a couple of things to me, and she's like, "There's a few things that we have to put through the paces. We've already sent him home once. We've sent him home a couple of other times. We have to start writing him up from here." She said, "If we have that, then legally, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. So it's one of those things that we now have to, yeah, it pretty much boils down to he doesn't care if he has a job or not. We know that. But it's one of those things that legally, it's one of those things to prevent, if it was to be taken to court in a lawsuit, we would be able to say, hey, we did this, we did this, we did this. And he was given numerous chances. So it's kind of like that. So we're trying to cover all our bases. So if it was to go in front of a judge, it wouldn't that he wouldn't have a leg to stand on. That pretty much no lawyer would take that case because it would be an absolute joke. So that's one of the things that we have to look at. And so he's not my problem anymore. But there, like I said, I would hate to have to be in his shoes to go home to my hotshot nurse, nurse wife. Oh, we're already looking at that. It ain't it's again, it's not my problem, but it's one of those things I feel bad for him for having to go home and say I've been taken out of maintenance to his wife who has been through college, hotshot nurse, knows her stuff and things like that. I mean, I would hate to have to be in his shoes. So I mean, I feel bad for him in that case. And because I mean, knowing that knowing how that would feel, I'd hate to be in his shoes. I mean, I'd hate to be in his shoes right now. So, well, and see that I know I don't need to. It's not my problem. Who cares? It's not me. But there's a part of me that understands that, has went through experiences similar to that. Good, bad, or indifferent. I've went through things like that where, it's like, I got to get a different job, and I'm looking at my other half, or, things like that. So, I mean, in that regard, I know his pain and having to deal with that pain, that's what I feel bad about, because here he's got to say, I've just been demoted. I'm going to lose that pay increase, and as it is, my hours are very short and very minimal. As it is, I have to now go back to doing 6 days a week. So in that regard, I mean, yeah, I feel bad for him. Now, again, I don't have to feel bad for him. It's not my problem. He caused the problem and I had to solve it. So, and as an old timer in AA used to say to me, you know, you can't solve the problem. You can't be the solution to the problem when you're the problem. Something to that effect. How can I be the solution to the problem when I am the problem? So in that regard, that's on him. So that's where it stands. I mean, yeah, I don't, on one hand, I don't feel bad for him. He caused me nothing but headaches, and I still was dealing with those headaches today. But on the other hand, I totally understand what it's like to be in his shoes. So in that regard, because of empathy, which is a natural progression. What's going on, Queen Mercury? I haven't seen you in a minute. It's good to see you, Queen Mercury. I'm just talking about some issues that I had at work and kind of getting that out in the open. Talking about some problems that I was experiencing, with that. Again, I feel bad for the guy. I feel really bad for him because, how have I been? I have been doing fantabulous. This morning I had a miracle happen to me. I woke up this morning and I found it not necessary to take a drink. And, any day that still happens is truly a miracle. Oh, yeah, we totally handled the issues. Basically, it was my backup maintenance guy. For those that do not know, and I know some people look down their nose at McDonald's, but I'm kind of more or less, I'm the head of the maintenance department at the McDonald's I work at. Right, sis? So it's one of those things, I mean, I'm kind of the head of my department, unofficially, because they always like to put a manager kind of ahead of the department, and I'm not in management per se, but most of the, thank you, Queen Mercury. Thank you so much. See, I'm actually, there's really two types of jobs at a McDonald's. There's the one for the person who's just kind of passing through, needs to maybe make money for college, or maybe they're trying to buy a car. A job, yeah, exactly. They're not going to be around forever. They might be around for a while. But then there's the other side of McDonald's that a lot of people tend to forget does exist. And that is the side where you can turn it into a career. I've done that. As a matter of fact, I'm so good at what I do, a lot of times I'm the one that they call to go to the other store, the other McDonald's in the town I work in Farmington, Missouri. I go to the other McDonald's. So there's really two, I work at what is known as Farmington 1, which is over on Karsh. And as a matter of fact, I actually met Think Different over there. Him and I have actually talked before, personally. So I'm pretty much head of the maintenance department there. And if they need someone trained at one of the other stores, thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate that. But on the other hand, if the other McDonald's, what is known as Farmington 2, which is across town from us, if they need someone trained on a certain procedure and maintenance, or they need a maintenance person trained altogether, or they need someone to fill in for them, I'm the one that they call to go over there and work in that store because it has a lot of older equipment that I'm still familiar with. I actually know how to work on all of the new stuff. Believe it or not, their maintenance man at the Ironton store has actually been working for McDonald's for like 16 years. But some will say he's really good, some will say he's not so good. So I guess he falls somewhere in the middle. And I know the guy. I've known him for years. Really nice guy. I don't think that man has ever said a crossword to a single person, ever. He's a really nice guy. He is knowledgeable enough. If you showed him something, he'll get it and he'll make it work. I mean, he's that knowledgeable. So I guess he is that good in his department. But along with that, I'm the one that they all call when there's a problem at the Farmington 2 store. So they'll call me in. Now, this is an end result of that hardworking, when you get into sobriety, how many times I got to say, we're fun and loving and hardworking people. When you get alcoholics like myself sobered up, and then, you send us you send us out into the world. When you get us sobered up and get a program into us, send us out in the world. We're fun and loving, hardworking. We try to be the best possible people we can because of the life that we've lived before. So in that regard, it shows. It shows. Which, ironically enough, the store manager where I work at the Farmington 1 location, her older sister is the store manager at the Farmington 2 location, which is funny because at the Farmington 1 location, I always tease our store manager, Jen. I always tease her and call her Huggy Bear, named after the pimp from Starsky and Hutch. I always tease her and call her Huggy Bear. And I always joke and say if I get out of line, she'll pimp slap me. And she just dies laughing at that. And she plays into the joke and everything. Well, the older sister from Farmington 2, the store manager from Farmington 2, the older of the two sisters, heard that and she thought that was hilarious. Well, the Farmington 2, the older of the two sisters, her name is Carolyn. She's really funny. So we got funny joke, right? And when Jen, my store manager, asked me to go out to Farmington 2 the last time she asked me if I would do it, I said, of course. I looked at her and said, yeah, I'll go out and work with your sister. I like your sister. She knows how to take care of me real good. You should have seen the look on Jen's face. You should have seen the look on. She's like, oh my God. Funniest part is Carolyn was the one who told me it was perfectly okay to make that joke. And she's like, when I asked her, I said, I've been wanting to do this the next time Jen sends me out here to your store. The next time she sends me out here, to, more or less, look at her and say, I like your sister. I enjoy working with your sister. She knows how to take care of me real good. She's like, oh, you were so bad. What's going on, filming? What's up, brother? It's good to see you. But yeah, I looked at her and I said, your sister knows how to take care of me real good. You should have seen the look on her face. And Carolyn was the one who put me up to it. And of course, Princess Faye, when she heard the joke, she's like, you're not funny. You're not funny. She said, because I know about all the women before me. She said, including the ones you shouldn't have been with. She's like, you've told me enough. And she's like, you really shouldn't be making jokes like that. I said, but it's still funny. It's, we're all friends. We're all getting along together, just fine. And it was funny. It was really funny. It had to have been there. But yeah, when I looked right at my store manager and said, I like working for your sister. She knows how to take care of me real good. You should have seen the look on her face. I mean, she's like, God. As a matter of fact, I even put the same older sister up to another joke. You try not to laugh too hard at this. And she's like, Jen's going to get sick and tired of me borrowing you. I said, which one of you is the older of the two? She said, well, I'm the older. I'm the oldest sister. I said, well, just look at her and say what I would say to all my siblings. I let you play with my toys when we were kids. She's like, oh my God, you were so bad. She's like, you are so bad. She laughed. And I did a lot of work out at her store, and she's like, you are like the greatest maintenance guy. And I said, all I can say is thank goodness for Alcoholics Anonymous for helping reaffirm that there is a need for a good hard, a good solid work ethic. And I will say it right now, I was brought up with a hard working work ethic, that we work hard. Giggity. Shot. Giggity. It's one of those things, that I was brought up with, the core value of being hardworking, that you are, when you go to work, you are your work, don't make yourself expendable. Okay. Don't be that guy that makes himself expendable. If you mess up, be honest about it, things like that. And I guess you could say along the way with my alcoholism, I kind of lost a little bit of that. My alcoholism really did make me into the person I never wanted to be. It turned me into the opposite of everything I wanted to be. I never wanted to be an asshole. Well, it turned me into an asshole. Never wanted to be that guy that you couldn't trust, and it turned me into that. Through Alcoholics Anonymous and working the steps and everything, it returned me back to the core values that I was brought up with. My sister will tell you that we were always brought up, be hardworking, be hardworking. You don't always be working on something, don't sit around and just do nothing. And if you're going to do it right the first time, because if you don't do it right the first time, you got to do it again. Don't pay. And as I like to say it, don't pay for the same real estate twice, and Alcoholics Anonymous kind of reaffirmed those values, brought me back to those core values that I had lost. And it has been a very positive influence. Even when I worked in nursing, I was always considered in a lot of cases, the most respected in the nursing department. And I'm very grateful for that. Of course, it also took some of my character defects, what sometimes, the more religious types will call sins. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we don't like that word. We call them character defects. Sometimes it takes those character defects and turns them into assets. And sometimes it helps you work on just getting rid of them altogether. For an example, I like to be center stage, and I like to be, the center of attention. I like people to pay attention to me. Hence why I have a YouTube channel. It works out. I can, use that gift of gab. And oh, hey, Kevin, I'll tell you right now, you guys are awesome. Every last one of you allow me to share my experience, strength, and hope from Alcoholics Anonymous, or share what I have learned over the years, and those hardworking core values that I had was brought up with, the knowledge I've acquired. You guys let me share a lot. And we have a lot of fun, don't we? I mean, we have a lot of fun. And that's exactly the way it should be. We should always have as much fun as we possibly can. And we do. We have a great time here on the Prince Magnum channel. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. There's only one way I know how to do things, and that is to continue just moving forward and doing the best we can with what we have in life. And I can't, I love living life to its fullest. I have a great time. No question about it. I have a great time. So like I said, it was a hard knock, that I had to make a decision, and it's going to affect somebody's life yesterday. And in essence, I mean, yeah, it affected somebody, and thank you so much for the update, Sean, because sometimes my counter doesn't work worth a diddly dick. It just doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. You know, I'm almost wondering where Queen is tonight. I'm hoping so now, you guys get to hear some of those hardworking ethics that came back to me through Alcoholics Anonymous. For the record, I always leaned a little bit more towards Victorian age gentleman behavior. But I will say that through Alcoholics Anonymous, I had the Southern gentleman behavior passed on to me as well. As a matter of fact, more in particular, it was actually a Cajun that really kind of ingrained how I was supposed to behave more and more as a husband. And some of the knowledge that he passed on to me was just immensely wonderful. And I mean, I even was taught a proper way of conducting a business deal through another one who was a salesman, things like that. So I learned a great deal. Oh, we love Queen Bee. We love Queen Bee. Queen Bee is, she's a sweetheart. Got to play Fortnite with her. Yeah, through Alcoholics Anonymous, I guess you could say I have we'll say moderately. I think that's fair. Moderately successful YouTube channel. We're close to having the monetization turned back on. We'll be able to open up memberships. We also, a lot of people forget we got the Patreon account, but no one can really afford that, so I don't push it. No one can. I always leave it open that if you have a PayPal account and you want to donate to my PayPal, you can, but I don't push it because let's face facts. A lot of us here on the Prince Magnum channel within the Maverick Nation, all of us suffer from a a pronounced, situation that we call, brokitude, if you will. We all suffer from, money issues. Not all of us have money, falling from the sky. It's just the nature of the beast. We don't always have the money. I wish we did. I wish all of us had money that we could kind of throw around and do whatever we need to do and what have you, but we don't. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. I wish it wasn't that it wasn't that case, but it is. Once we get the monetization turned back on, we will start looking at sponsorships and maybe looking at growing the channel even a little bit more, in more of a corporate sense. But I will tell you all right now that Super Chat would be turned off right away during Sober Talk. I won't accept donations in Sober Talk. That should always be free. I shouldn't accept a single dime during Sober Talk. That's just kind of how it is. I should never do that. And I wouldn't hope that none of you would ever give me money during Sober Talk. I appreciate that, it's just one of those things, but, any other time, yeah, go ahead if you want. But I hate the thought of accepting money in Sober Talk. What I have to offer through Alcoholics Anonymous, what it has given me should always be 100% free. Even without donation, I should never even, that's just kind of how I am. That's again something the AA has passed on to me. Just one of the things. I know that sounds weird, doesn't it? Kind of weird. Why is a super chat on? I can't. I just couldn't. I can't. One of them things. But anyhow, yeah, I had to talk about that tonight. I had had to make a decision that affected somebody's life, and in a way, it affected them negatively, but it affected me in a positive sense, and it affected the store as a whole in a positive sense. I had to make a decision, and I talked to one of the other managers, and she's like, "I understand your situation. I hate that he's coming back to my department, but I also understand what you had to do. You had to do what you had to do." And I said, well, the thing of it is, if he messes up an order, no big deal. It'll cost the store maybe a couple dollars. I said, in my case, if he messes up something, it could cost us thousands of dollars, and that would seriously affect us in the long run. I said, I can't have that. I said, I have to look at I said, it's you guys as in management's job to run things inside the store. It is my job to keep the store standing so you guys can do your job. And she's like, you made a very good decision. She said, as head of your department, you made the best decision for the store. She's like, I don't think you should feel guilty at all. I think you made a very conscious decision that affects the store as a whole. And I think all of us in management can appreciate that. I think we all can appreciate you. She's like, you work hard. And I don't know any other maintenance man that we've ever had in the past that goes to the detail or the length that you do. And for that, I am very proud to work with you. And that made me feel really good because she's one of those managers I would follow into hell and back. And if she asked me to take a second tour, I would do it. I'd take two and three. It'd be, thank you, ma'am. Can I have another sort of situation? I mean, it's just, she's that kind of she commands that kind of respect. And honestly, I mean, she's one of those managers I truly do respect a great deal. I mean, we butt heads regularly. Oh my God, do we butt heads? We butt heads all the time. I don't know any time that we don't butt heads. But on the other hand, um, you know, because we don't always get along, I guess in a way I kind of respect her even more than that. Because we don't always see eye to eye. And it's one of those things I know what she, it's one of those things I know she knows more about her department than I do, and I know more about my department than she does. So in that regard, we kind of have that mutual. And again, that's something else that Alcoholics Anonymous taught me. It taught me how to, now that I've kind of made another 6 months, 14 and a half years, I always, when I get to that halfway marker, and this is something that I've kind of wanted to talk about, but we've always talked about other stuff. I always take that time. What have I learned? Okay. Even though there's not a whole lot in the way of meetings and things like that, if you will, I guess you could say in a roundabout way, I've kind of learned some other stuff. What have I learned this year? Where can I grow, sort of thing? And I like to take that step back and take a look at Prince Magnum. Where am I at in my continual growth, in my sobriety? And, look, perfection is never achieved in a human being, but looking at trying to make myself better, that whole, I hate the term, self growth. I think that's not really the right term. I don't know what you would call this, but I'm continuing to try to grow as a person, to try to grow in the spiritual life as an alcoholic, and in my recovery life, I guess you could say, growing in that spiritual part of my recovery and trying to grow in my recovery to become a better person, or to become a healthier person, I guess is a better term. Looking ahead at that, if you will, as I continue to try to grow in that right direction, which I will fall short regularly, that's just part of being human, but trying to continue to grow and to get better as a human being, I like to take that 6 month marker and take a look where I'm at. And, now that I've had this kind of happen, okay, why do I feel this way? What is it? Yes, I feel bad, but I have to take a look at the large picture. I have to, did I just act on self, or did I act in a selfless, if you will, Humility, humility is not thinking less of myself. It's thinking of myself less, you know, if you will. Something sober man taught me. Thinking of myself less. So did I make a decision based on just myself, or did I make a decision based on everybody around me? And the answer is I feel deep down that I made a decision that would benefit everyone as a whole. Unfortunately, one person. So, if you will, Star Trek logic, the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few, or in this case, the one. So, um, but there's always going to be a part of me that's going to feel bad for that one person, you know, and that is a good thing, though. That is a good thing that I have feelings, that I do care. It means that I'm not a selfish person like I once was, just looking out for Prince Magnum, thinking of that whole center of the universe sort of thing. I think that's a good thing. So I guess you could say that I made a decision that affected my coworkers as a whole in a good sense, but at the same time, um, I thought, I think you all know where I'm going with this, basically, but I feel bad for the one person. So that, in that regard, I think that is growth. That is growth. And of course, I'm going to pull sober man aside and explain this to him, how I feel about it and things like that. And I know a lot of what he will tell me. I know pretty well what he'll pretty well tell me. That's a good thing. Continue on your path. You're doing the right things. I'm proud of you. And I will say this right now, I'm proud to have Sober Man as my sponsor once again. He's been my sponsor for the last couple of years, and I still look up to him, not only as my spiritual advisor, as we would say in the AA Big Book, but I still look up to him as even like my best, one of my best friends in life. And I still look up to him as a father figure. I do. I look up to him as a father figure. He's an amazing friend. And I wouldn't have him any other way. Just an absolutely amazing person through and through. And eventually, one of these live streams, I'm going to basically get Sober Man to allow me to record him. He's not quite ready for the camera for a live stream, kind of worldwide live stream, where you all get to see him, and he's not quite ready for that yet. And with the pandemic going on right now, I don't think it would be exactly wise for me to travel to where he lives. He lives in Branson, and I would know he would tell me, "No, I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay where you're going to be safe. I don't want you getting out unless you have to." Currently, right now, where I live, we are now, I think we're in the 700s, if I remember correctly. I knew we were well into the 600s, but I think we're about to cross if we haven't, we will be soon crossing the threshold into the 700s and probably into the thousands soon. So it's really reached our little neck of the woods here in little small town Midwest Missouri. Rednecksville down here. It's finally reached us, and it's real. It is really real at this point. Some of my friends now are getting it down this way, and it scares me. It really does scare me. Not so much for me, but for a lot of my friends. The joke that we all have at work is I'm always looking out for coworkers and things like that, trying to keep things cleaned and sanitized for them. And one of my ongoing jokes is, since I'm the one who does all of that, it'll probably be my luck I'd be the first one to get it. And they said, "Please, Prince Magnum, I hope that you don't. I hope you're the one of the, because you are always looking out for us. I would hate for you to be the one that gets it. I'd rather it be me." And again, that's just again Alcoholics Anonymous at its finest, working through me, um, showing that there is hope in alcoholism. Wasn't that long ago? I seen another guy that they had to let go due to his alcoholism, drugs. I mean, a little bit of everything, really. They had to let him go. And when he's sober, he's a really nice guy. But when you get a few drinks in him, he's not so nice. He's kind of a jerk. And a couple of times I thought, man, I hope I don't have to thump on him because, you know, him, getting out of hand here at work. I hope I don't have to be that guy. Um, so it's, he came in, oh, I know there's this rumor going around about me. Whatever, man. you know and I mean, it's his own family that's ratting him out, evidently either A, starting a rumor, or B, ratting him out for what he's been doing, you know that sort of thing. He had a nice home and everything, lost it all, and he did that through working through McDonald's, but he lost it all, from what it sounds like. And as I'm listening to this, I'm like, gosh, I'm glad I'm not there anymore where you have strange rumors like that roaming around about me like that. I'm so glad that's not me. I mean, everyone genuinely likes me for who I am and they all look out for me and, that sort of thing. So I'm grateful that I'm not in his shoes. I would hate to be in his shoes, have to go around and find out, what's being said and, what lies I told and that sort of thing and what I did the night before and the strange places and things that I did. I don't have to worry about none of that shit. I just go to work, come home, work on the YouTube channel, things like that. I don't have to worry about none of that crazy stuff. I'm glad I'm not there anymore. Very glad. Um, again, I'd hate to be in his shoes. I would hate to be in his shoes, living that life again. My God, you know, phew, I'd hate to be there. I mean, think about that for a moment. Not know who you screwed over the night before, or who you pissed off, and why you got this black eye or something like that. Glad I'm not there anymore. You know, a lot of times when people like that act out, I always say, "But for the grace of God, there go I." You know, um, whoever God is in your life. So it's been a growing experience the last few weeks. It's been quite the growing experience. Watching people around me and trying to be the best possible example in sobriety that I can be. It's been quite the growing experience. And I will also say that with some care, I have seen some areas that I need to avoid or at least work on. One of the things that I have found that I need to work on is when I get around people that like to gossip, I can get caught up in it pretty easy. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think that's a very bad thing. Um, and seeing that I need to strengthen myself in that regard, that I don't get caught up in things like that, because that's not who I want to be. I want to be a positive beacon, not that negative Nancy, that person stirring that pot and you know stirring that shit pot. We don't need that. There's enough of those people in the world. I don't need to be another one of those. So I need to avoid things like that. This is something that I need to continue to work on. Along with that, I need to continue to work on Prince Magnum's very large fucking ego problem. I have a very big ego problem. And I need to continue to work on humility, because if I get hung up on ego and not focused on my humility, I can suffer humiliation. And humiliation is the total opposite of humility. So I need to continue to work on remaining, you know, remaining the right size, I guess you could say. So it's a continual effort there. So I don't get so dang big, up here, need to continue that. And need to continue to try to remain, keep building people up positively. Because again, when you get around negative people and things like, it doesn't take long. You can get wrapped up in that too. And I think a lot of people can understand that. So I need to continue that effort. And this is just these are the things that I've, learned, have taken notice of in my own sober life. Remember, alcoholism isn't just about your problem with drinking. It's about what's going on up here, what's going on between your ears. And in that regard, it's a continual effort. So now that I know that, I can continue to try to work in that positive manner, to continue that going forward effort. Again, in some ways it's a spiritual process, in other ways it's a matter of watching where those problems come up and continuing to, okay, then I need to step back and take check myself, I guess you could say. What's going on, Mikey G? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. We've been going for about an hour and 5 minutes, and it's good to see you. So you got lots of time to hear what's going on. You know, right now, currently, I guess you could say I'm kind of talking about looking ahead at another, making that. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Right now, currently, I'm just kind of looking ahead at the next, at the next big milestone, which is making 15 years sober. And that's all the way February 7th. We're not there yet, so none of y'all be congratulating me just yet, okay? We're not there yet. When we get there, I want all the pats on the backs. I want all the hugs. I want all the shout outs for making that 15 years sober. We are not there yet, okay? That's actually something we say in there, in AA. When you get there, I'll clap for you, okay? When you get there, I'll give you that big hug. But don't start celebrating before the celebration, okay? We have to get there. It's one of those things. Don't put the cart before the horse, sort of thing. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. The next 6 months, I have found where it is that I need to continue to grow. I've seen where I have grown, but I've seen where else I need to continue my growth. Start a countdown. We might just have to do that as we get a little bit closer. Now, in Alcoholics Anonymous, you're given up to 1 week. So basically, you get the day of and 7 days after that to celebrate your sobriety birthday. Now, for those that do not know what I just said by sobriety birthday, your sobriety birthday basically is where it is, in a nutshell, instead of saying sobriety anniversary or the anniversary that you got the day you got sober, we call it a sobriety birthday because it's being returned to the flow of life. Okay, we call it a sobriety birthday. Mine is February 7th, 2006. You always know when someone's really real about Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, our sister program out there, or even Al-Anon. They'll talk about the day that they got into recovery themselves because they're having to recover from the problems that's been left with them from their alcoholic or addict. Welcome back, Kevin. Welcome back, Kevin Myers. Good to see you, buddy. So that's kind of, we call that our sobriety birthday or recovery birthday, however you want to say it, but sobriety birthday, I love that because I'm being returned to the flow of life. Return to the flow of life. And I already know, I mean, I joke about this all the time, but I know, let me say right now, if I ever did go back to drinking, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't think I would deserve another chance at it because after all the time that I've had. But along with that, I know, oh, it's good to see you too. It's good to see you. Mikey G, you got a new one up? That's what's up. That's what's up. I'll tell you right now, Mikey G invited me into his live stream to play Fortnite. What was it, about almost a week ago now? And he invited me into his live stream to do Fortnite with him, and we had so much fun. Right at the end of his stream, we took a battle royale victory, and that was like the coolest to be able to do that in his live stream. I pulled off that final kill, and it was one of those real cartoonish shots that I was like, yeah, that's what's up. And did that in my Batman skin and everything. And it was so cool. And I'm like, we're live. Oh, I didn't even know we were live. I was just doing what I do. I didn't even know we were live and then pulled it off. And I'm like, you had that live. Oh man, you were like the coolest. You were like the coolest, to have that live. And for me to be able to, I always appreciate whenever you all let me into your live streams like that. It means the world to me. And again, that's just another thing, another hats off to Alcoholics Anonymous that you all let me into your live streams or you'll invite me onto your channels. And I've been on a lot of people's YouTube channels now. Um, you know, Jam and John and another person that we don't even talk about anymore here on the Prince Magnum channel. We don't even talk about him. But I was on his channel, even been on in one of his live streams a long time ago. Of course, they shut him down long ago because he beat a cat on camera. Don't worry, Galaxy, I wouldn't dare. She's looking at me like, yeah. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate that. You know, been on Jam and John's. I've now been on Mikey G's, Ian's. I don't know if I've been on Ravens yet, Mr. Raven Nuts. I don't know if I've been on his yet or not. I know that if I have, he hasn't told me, and I know kind of sort of I've been on Princess Faye's, my own wife's. I've kind of been on hers a little bit, things like that. And I mean, I always appreciate that stuff, which just goes to show that Alcoholics Anonymous has brought me to a point where I can be on other people's channels and they feel comfortable and feel like, that, they feel like that they can trust me to conduct myself in a decent manner, that I will, oh yeah, let's not forget, I've even been on I've been on Twitch. I've even been live streamed on Mixer on other people's channels. And this is just the end result of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've even been live streamed on Facebook. That's been weird. Jam and John did that for me. He live streamed me, on Facebook. And I mean, he's just, so many people have shared me out in so many wonderful ways. And it's just, I can only say that I'm grateful that you all do that. And I can only give thanks, not only to you guys, but to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you guys. This is this is what AA can give back to a person. I've been given so many wonderful, whatever you want to call it, gifts, blessings, those little bitty things that just say that I've been given a second chance at life. And I'll tell y'all right now, when I got sober, I honestly did not know what I was going to be getting into. I did not know that I would be, starting a YouTube channel some years down the road. I didn't know that people from around the world would watch me. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know what I was getting into when I got sober. And then I wouldn't even have known that I would have been a speaker in front of, hundreds of people. I never knew that that would happen. I hadn't been a speaker even at treatment centers. I hope that day comes, Kevin, when we do get to meet each other in person. I hope that day it comes soon. Because I'll tell y'all right now, I consider myself fortunate not only to be alive, but to be sober, but to have so many people that will bring me into their homes, bring me into their lives, allow me to do some of the things that I get to do today. I consider myself fortunate, blessed, whatever, however you want to call it. And this is, whether you want to say AA has an interesting psychology or if you want to say it's, borderline cult, I don't care. It has worked for me. And I mean, I'm grateful that it has worked. It does work, you know? Sis. I don't know, sis. I don't know. I don't think Dad will like me coming around anymore. Dad doesn't like me anymore. He's got his issues and whatever, Oh, you're awesome, Kevin. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, he can be. I'm sure somewhere deep down he probably wonders, I know to some degree, if you told him, how big that I'm getting on YouTube and that, I stand a chance at making some decent money and things like that, I know he might to some degree probably go, well, he's got the talent for it and things like that. I don't know how dad might feel. I honestly don't know. Um, I know it probably had to start getting a little uncomfortable while living in Ironton because I know a lot of people down there probably do know that I'm getting to that point. I know a lot of people down there know that. And because they know that, turn right around, I imagine they had to get a little uncomfortable with him because he's not talking to his oldest son who's getting that big. I know it has had to be a little uncomfortable down there, you know. Um, I'm doing great filming. Right now we're just talking about, looking ahead at another 6 months of continuous sobriety. Not, we're not there yet, but on February 7th, 2021, if I'm fortunate enough by the grace of my higher power, I will have a grand total of, believe it or not, 15 years without a drink or a drug. Don't congratulate me yet. We're not there. Okay. I got 14 and a half years. You can congratulate me on that. Hey, I understand, Kevin. If you ever want to talk, you're more than welcome to. You are always more than welcome to. You can, and any of you here in the U.S. or Canada can give me a phone call at any time. And even if you're outside the country, we will find a way. Outside of Canada or the U.S., we will find a way. I've talked to Mikey G. Mikey G. I've talked to him through Facebook Messenger, and I'll tell y'all right now, he's a really nice guy to talk to. I get such a kick out of him. He's such a friendly person. If you all have never had the opportunity to talk to Mikey G, you are missing out. I'm telling you, really nice guy, really a wonderful guy. Speaking of talking to people, I need to get Sean into the Sonny's group, as soon as possible. You and Queen Bee, I got to get you guys in the Sonny's. TFZ, I got to get you guys over in the Sonny's. We got to get you guys involved a little bit deeper. That is what is up. So I want to get you guys involved in the Sonny's. Oh, shoot, Kevin. And see, that's again, to have friends like you, Kevin, that's a true blessing that's been given to me through AA. I'm very fortunate to have so many people like you in my YouTube community that we all call the Maverick Nation. And I'll tell you all a funny story. When I came up with that idea, it was based on what the word maverick actually means: unorthodox, free spirited, walking to the beat of your own drum. And you'll hear me even say, the Maverick Nation, I'm just the mouthpiece, for people that want to think outside the box, want to do things differently. Don't be the follower, be the leader. Walk to the beat of your own drum. My own dad taught me this. You know, be the person who thinks outside of the box. Be that person, you know. See, my sister even knows this. And these are core values that have been passed back on to me. And of course, with those core values comes some different values, like the makeup live stream. My dad would not approve of these. Guys just don't do that. You know, that's a funny thing. That's the funny thing about, sometimes who we are, sometimes if you don't have a little bit of controversy surrounding you, you're not doing it right here on YouTube. You've got to have just a little bit to at least, and I'll say it like this: bad publicity is still publicity. Bad publicity is still publicity. So don't, and if people are talking about you, They're leaving somebody else alone. Think of it as a, service to your community. There's going to be people that talk poorly about me. They don't think too highly of me. Maybe it's sometimes the company that I kept before, whatever the case may be. But in reality, you know, um, if you don't have a little bit of that, you're not doing it right. I think for the most part, I've been very fortunate to keep a somewhat squeaky clean persona. I'm very fortunate in that regard, but every once in a while, I'm pretty sure I probably cross over into that realm of controversial. I know I do. And I'm sure there's even some people that even have choice words. It is what it is, like, like about like 3 years ago, I tackled a, oh, really? That's a funny thing. Well, you're going to get channels like that. You're going to get channels as Supreme Anime would say. There are some people on YouTube that are content creators and live streamers, and then there's some that you can call douche tubers. And some of them, they live for controversy. There was one particular channel that I was in, and I could not stand being on that channel because they just love to stir that pot. They just made problems for themselves, and it's like, don't do that to yourself. Be a beacon of hope on YouTube. There's enough negative in the world, and they were horrible. I couldn't be a part of that. I could not be a part of that. And they were just very, very horrible, horrible people. And I'm very grateful that I'm not a part of that community. I could not be a part of that community. I mean, just horrible people that live for negativity. And it's like, don't be that person. If you're going to be a content creator, the one thing that I will say is follow what someone in AA taught me. Well, I'll tell you all a funny story, because that's one of the things I'm known for is my story telling capabilities. Um, there was a particular gentleman here on YouTube a few years ago, and he started kind of trolling the channel. And at that time, I really didn't live stream a whole lot. Every now and again, I would live stream. Mostly, it was uploaded content, and the live streams that I did back then weren't that great. Today, I would say my live streams are 1,000 times better than what they were back then. But as it stood back then, this particular YouTuber, well, particular person in the YouTube community started kind of trolling me a little bit, and I more or less went live and said, "Here's my email address. Let's talk about this, man to man. Let's talk about this. I will give you my phone number. We will talk." And he was kind of a little leery about it. And when he called, when he finally felt comfortable enough to call me, I said, I'm not going to out you, let's solve this problem man to man. When he finally had the nerve to call me and we talked, I said, man, what's the problem? Okay. I'm trying to, build my channel to the point where I can make a living and things like that. What's the problem? Well, you're doing this. How can it be this way? This is the way it is, and I have no reason to lie. I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. We've been taught honesty. I have no reason to lie to you. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. If I tell you it is as it is, I mean, then that's it. I have done all I can. I'm not saying that I'm going to be perfectly right every time, but I'm not going to lie to you. And he was cool with that. And he's like, I just, I found it hard to believe, no, I'm not going to lie to you. He's like, really? He's like, you're not recording. I said, I'm not recording this. I said, I'm not going to out you. I said, I'm not going to, say anything bad about you. I said, I'm being honest with you. And he's like, just like that. And I said, yeah. He's like, well, why are you doing this? Well, because of this, and we ended up talking for a couple hours. And in the end, I made one of the best friends that I need to give him a call and see how he's doing. I've been wondering how he's been doing. I haven't heard from him in probably a couple weeks, so I really need to get over there and holler at him. Really a fantastic gentleman, and I think very highly of him. He's probably one of the sweetest people that I have made, one of the sweetest friends that I've ever made here on YouTube. And we started off where he was, I wouldn't say it was a honestly, it was more of a misunderstanding. And the more we talked, the better friends we became. And today, I hope the day comes when him and I get to sit down and just enjoy a good meal together and just talk. I mean, just one of those fantastic friends that we started off on the wrong foot, but then in the end, we are now some of the best friends, and some of the one of the best friends that I could have ever have asked for. And I'm very fortunate to have him as a friend. And if he's watching, he knows I'm talking about him, and if he watches the playback, he knows I'm talking about him. We just got off on the wrong foot. And, he'll tell you to this day, you were not what I expected. And, you really handled that situation totally well. And I'm very grateful that you did. And even the person that is my internet stalker, I've even offered the same exact thing. He's not that kind of person, he is what he is. Some people are sick. Some people are very sick. And maybe the day will come when maybe we can settle our differences and we can talk like, normal, everyday human beings. Maybe that day will come, you know, but we're not there yet. And despite some of the mean things that I might say back at him, I don't mean it. I don't mean it that way, but come on, if you're going to pick on me, I'm going to pick back. It's kind of like that. Maybe that day will come when we get the opportunity to talk like normal human beings and settle those differences, whatever his problem is. Maybe that day will come. I would like it. I would like it. And despite some of the horrible things he said and attempted, and maybe we can settle those differences. You know, if there's one thing that Alcoholics Anonymous has also taught me is to right, and that has taught me to be positive in the face of, people being douchebags. That's just one of those things. It has taught me to be positive and to be forgiving because sometimes people suffer problems that are, too big for us to understand. Sometimes they just need to have that door open, you know. Um, to be that positive beacon. And I'm very grateful that I can try to be that positive person. You know, I'm very fortunate. Again, I'm looking ahead at things that I need to continue to grow on, um, you know, and that sort of thing, just continuing to try to be positive because now more than ever, what I do and what I say affects other people positive or negative. It's up to me to continue to grow how, I guess you could say, that chosen idea of being a positive person to try to help other people, to try to show them, even if they suffer alcoholism from alcoholism or they don't, whether they're in recovery or not, whether they're alcoholic or not, whatever the case may be, I need to continue to try to be. Well, I guess you could say, looking at what you're saying, Kevin, I don't believe there's necessarily bad people. I believe there are sick people. That's something that AA has taught me that most generally speaking, a lot of people do want to do good. Most of the time, people want to do good, but they get sick up here. Things happen in their life, and it may not necessarily be that they're suffering from alcoholism. They just suffer from other problems. And sometimes it's hard for me to remember that. So I need to continue to grow along the lines of patience and tolerance. One of the things that we've also learned in AA is never ask your higher power for a lesson in patience and tolerance. Always ask them that when you're presented with a problem to show patience, and tolerance. Kevin, I wouldn't make fun of you. I think it's a wonderful thing. I watched some of your videos. I've seen quite a few of your videos, and I may not necessarily comment on them, but I watch them, I leave a like, and oftentimes with the what you're doing here on YouTube, I will say hands down, bar none, with what you are doing on YouTube is positive in a way that I think people can relate, can understand and they appreciate it. It's good stuff. And those of you who suffer from, mental disabilities, I don't, whatever the case may be, I don't like that whole mentally challenged. You have been handed a disability and you have to overcome it. That would be the challenge. And, you know, you weren't dealt a fair hand, but you have to make the best of it. And those that do, like you, Kevin, you are inspirations to me. Many of you out there that suffer from those disabilities. Challenge to me, the challenge is, right. So I look up to people like you, those that suffer those disabilities. I look up to you guys because I mean, you face those, you get up with those disabilities, you go to bed with them, and sometimes getting some people like you aside, and sometimes it's the kick in the pants that I need to remain positive because you guys are oftentimes the ones that have to remain positive in in situations like that. So I look up to you guys and, that sort of thing. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. The one with the child that, the 14-year-old that suffered from he's like 16 now. Um, and I'll tell you right now, that was one of my all-time favorite videos to do. I love that video. It is like the greatest video I have ever done. And I love it. I love that video. More than anything, I'm working on getting ready to make a list must-see Prince Magnum videos, and that is at the top of my list to put on that, I've had people, say that that is like one of the all-time greatest videos that I have ever done. And I don't know if I could ever, ever, ever top that video, except as if I did, did it again, did that, did a remake of it, But, some things should never be rebooted. It is the defining moment. Oh, when really funny because when the opportunity arose and someone was like, I got to do something. I said, why don't you cover for me? Because I was actually doing community service. So why don't you cover for me on community service for a moment? And I'll do this for you. And I said, I'll make a video. That'll be for him. It'll be his YouTube video that he could show all of his friends. And I said it'd be the greatest birthday present that he could have. And he's like, talk about killing two birds with one stone. We killed several birds with that one stone. And when I told his mom, and I've known his mom for years, and when she more or less said, you want to do this for my son? I said, yeah, I consider it a birthday present. She's like, you are like the greatest friend ever. She's like, I appreciate that. Thank you. And she told her son, I have rode with Prince Magnum, and he's one of the greatest, he's a great driver. You better strap yourself in because I'm telling you right now, you're going on one hell of a ride. And that is exactly what we did. He reacted exactly as it was. And he was just so much fun. And I had such a great time with him. His whole question on animatronics, I really didn't know what to say. I was kind of a loss. Really? IG video. Oh man, that sucks. But yeah. Yeah, it was so much fun. I still have the original video footage saved. And it's like one of the greatest. And I gave, when I think I gave his mom the original footage, and she loves it, and she'll tell everybody Prince Magnum did this video for my son, and she, I to this day she'll tell you that I'm one of her favorite YouTubers of all time because I did that for her son, and that was just a feather in the cap, you know, that I could bring that positive vibe of Alcoholics Anonymous onto YouTube, and I've been able to do some good. I believe that I've done some good deep down. I've made people rethink things here on YouTube, and at least in the small community, I'm very proud of what I have done. But I know that I can't stay in yesterday. I have to continue to move forward into tomorrow. What can I do to reach out to other people? And I'm very grateful that I have that mentality. So many of you have continued to inspire me. And again, that is just one of those blessings. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah, I think she is too. Hi, Galaxy. You want to come up here and say hi to everybody? I know you're not a big fan of big cuddles. So good to see you, Chairman. I didn't even know you're in the background, but you is. It's so good to see you. Again, I'm very fortunate that I have so many of you here on the Prince Magnum channel kind of supporting me and showing that love. I'm very grateful for all of you. Giggity! Giggity, giggity. Um, and we have so much fun here on the Prince Magnum channel. We talk about just came in. That's what's up. I didn't know if you were lurky turkey or if you just popped in. I know we're getting close to the time where we do our usual shutdown and everything. We had a lot to talk about today, and it may not sound like it, but it all related to sobriety. In some way, shape, or form, it all related to sobriety. And again, I'm very fortunate that so many of you come along with me on this journey that I call sobriety. I'll tell Princess Faye you did say hi. And you rest well, Kevin. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you coming by and talking with us and sharing some of those positive vibes. So many of you um, have continued to take this journey with me that we call sobriety, and I'm very, very grateful for every last one of you. You know, but the only way I can really show that I'm grateful is to continue to keep doing what I'm doing, to put my best foot forward. You know, and that means something that I can try to continue to put my best foot forward for all of you. Um, I am one of your biggest fans. I may not always say it, but Kevin, I'm very, I love what you do here on YouTube, and I'm very proud to have you as a friend. So many of you continue to support me, and sometimes in my head, am I doing the right thing? Am I trying to help the right people? Am I trying to remain positive in the face of adversity and to be real with all of you? And I think that I've done a pretty good job thus far. I've tried to remain as real as possible. I don't air dirty laundry, but I've tried to be real. A good strong coffee. I needed that. I needed that. There's a coffee joke that I've been waiting to do in Ian's live stream just to mess him up. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. You're one of the people that I admire here on YouTube. So many of you that I look at, believe it or not, a lot of you say that you look up to me. Well, a lot of you that say that you look up to me, I look up to you guys, and that is exactly what is up. I'm very proud to have so many of you as friends. Again, I'm very fortunate that I have so many of you a part of my life. You know, the positive vibes from all of you continue to help me grow in the right direction. And as the big book says, you may not want to miss this. We know you wouldn't want to miss this. Frequent contact with, uh, with newcomers and each other is the bright spot of our lives. And you guys are part of that bright spot now. That makes my life. You guys are now part of that bright spot, and I can't thank you all enough for being a part of my life. Um, you guys are truly amazing, every last one of you. You know, Again, I can't thank y'all enough for coming along with me on this crazy ass journey we call sobriety. It is interesting, that is for sure. It is definitely interesting. Better make you some Mexican food, huh? You want it made with real Mexicans? No. Might have to do that, sis. You're gonna have to come up here so I can, so you can have some of that Mexican food. And have to make you my awesome steak fajitas. Have to make my steak fajitas. I promise you, you have one of my steak fajitas, you never be the same again. Promise. That's what's up. You know, yeah. You have to have one. You have to have my steak fajitas. Princess Faye was actually talking about that, and cooking up my steak fajitas. Sean, Sean and my sis still giving each other crap. That's what's up. You know. Again, I'm very fortunate that I have so many of you part of my life, and we have a lot of fun here on the channel, don't we? We have too much fun, probably way too much fun. Again, I'm very fortunate that I have so many of you that come into the live stream. Here we go again. Sis and Sean picking on each other. Oh, you kept saying sensitive. Well, ironically enough, I make a steak fajita that is not spicy. Oh, you still here, Daniel? You're the whole enchilada. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. My sis and Sean, they always bicker back and forth. Hey, what's up, heel finisher? Hey, it's good to see you, buddy. Glad you came by for the live stream. Glad you came over. So you can hang out, Wang Chung, talk a little bit about sobriety, get them positive vibes. For those who do not know, my sober date is February 7th, 2006. So if I'm fortunate enough to make another 6 months, this coming February 7th, 2021, I will have a grand total of 15 years without a drink or a drug. Do not congratulate me until we are there. That's what's up, heel finisher. That's what's up. Now we are getting to that point where we will be winding down the stream. I am doing fantastic. I woke up this morning and I had a miracle happen to me today. I woke up this morning and I found it not necessary to take a drink. There you go. I woke up this morning and found it not necessary to take a drink, and any day that happens is still truly a miracle, even after 14 years of continuous sobriety. Actually, 14 and a half on my birthday. I made 14 and a half years without a drink or a drug. So if, the God's willing, I will be sitting at a grand total of 15 years on this February 7th. So do not congratulate me. You know what? In AA, we don't count that because a lot of times smoking and drinking coffee is still okay in Alcoholics Anonymous. We really don't count that. I don't know why we don't count that, but we don't. It's just one of them things. As a matter of fact, Bill W. himself was a smoker, and he smoked all the way up until his demise in 1972. 1972, I think it was when he passed. Might have been 1972 to 75 in that ballpark area. Ironically enough, if I can get my hands on a good cassette player, I actually do have some audio of Bill W. actually talking. Yeah, smoking cigarettes isn't that bad. Now, I do not touch marijuana. I do not touch marijuana. We consider that a mind-altering drug, and it is not okay unless it has been prescribed by a doctor. So, if you wondered about that, which ironically, the devil's lettuce. So in AA, we consider that a relapse. If you are smoking, as if uh, if you're smoking, as my sister calls it, the devil's lettuce, we consider that a relapse. If you wondered about that, it is considered a serious relapse. We are not pharmaceutically flexible in Alcoholics Anonymous. So unless it has been prescribed by a doctor or it is over the counter or it's considered, like cigarettes or coffee, uh, right. You're not missing much, sis. You're not missing much. Honestly, I found that I could pound my head against the wall and get the same effect, and at least that's legal, you know. I know some people are like, marijuana's not that bad. Yeah. Why don't you put it down? Oh, I get serious anxiety problems. Really? So you can't put it down. It's not vital for your existence, and a doctor didn't prescribe it to you. So you get severe anxiety when you're not using. What do we call that? They're like, oh, I'm not addicted. Immediately they know where I'm going with it. So then you can put it down. Yeah, I can put it down anytime I want. Okay, then try it. Because then I'd loop it back around on them. Well, I can't do that. My anxiety. Then you're addicted. They're like, you're suffering withdrawals. Oh, you can't get it. Don't try that. Okay, don't try it. You can't win because I understand addiction. You know, and then so it's one of those things. I loop it back around on them. They don't like it. People hate it when I do that. And ironically enough, I work with people who suffer from chemical dependency just like me, but somehow they get in their head that it's okay to smoke pot, and no, it is not, unless a doctor has prescribed it. Which doctors love to write prescription for mind altering drugs that those mind altering drugs that people can get addicted to. And for the record, even over the counter medications can be addictive. As a matter of fact, I actually knew a woman that was addicted to acetaminophen. For those who do not know what acetaminophen is, that is Tylenol. I actually knew a woman. Yeah. In the end, it's all the same. Honestly, I'll be honest with y'all. AA World Services more or less sent it down the pipe saying, get ready. We're going to see an influx of people because of the legalization of pot. So many people who suffer from alcoholism is going to try to substitute that for their problems with alcohol. Just get ready, guys. And we've seen it. Every last one of them. Oh, I can do this and I'll be okay with it. And basically, they found out we have a lot of alcoholics that found out that that they're reefer addicts too. So they found out that they couldn't be rocking the ganj, if you will. And in the end, we have had a large influx of newcomers because of the legalization of marijuana. Funny, 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 isn't it? But it's not addictive. Don't worry, it's not addictive. Little sarcasm for y'all there. It's okay. I don't mind the ranks of Alcoholics Anonymous growing. If that's what it takes to get them in the doors to get right, by all means, you know, come on in. We saved you a seat. That's just how it is. We saved them a seat. You know, um, One of the things that I tell people, and that I'll sometimes tell newcomers. Actually, I tell this to every newcomer that I meet. You guys will like this. Um, I could tell by the look in your eyes that you are not. Life hasn't. You're wondering how the hell this could have ever happened to you. How you could have became an alcoholic. And I said, you're in here. And the pain in your eyes says it all. How could this have happened to me? And let me say it right now. I have never met a newcomer that came in here whistling saying it was great. Right? Right, sis? I've never met a newcomer came in here saying, man, it's great out there. I said, you find that newcomer, I want to talk to him. you know, because they're lying to themselves at that point. You know, so I've not met a newcomer that came into AA saying that it was great out there. It just doesn't happen. Um, at that point, it's not a thing. Um, sis, you know, um, so that's just one of those things. So, again, you it's all about honesty. It's all about honesty in AA. So we are now at that point where we will be shutting down for the night. Heads up, 7 Up. Tomorrow, there's going to be a live stream of where my hair is going to be trimmed up. Princess Faye is going to show off trimming my hair. I get to be beautified a little bit. My hair is really, really, really long. So we got to get that taken care of. Split ends are bad. My job is not easy on my hair. And I'm starting to get headaches from the length of my hair. Oh, thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You know, that's what's up. You guys are awesome. Every one of you coming in here and showing love to the Prince Magnum channel, showing love to me. I appreciate y'all. You guys are awesome. I can't thank y'all enough for being here with me. You know, kind of a heads up, we're going to get my hair all trimmed up. And Saturday, I have no idea what we're going to be getting into. I know somewhere in all this mess, there's going to be another makeup live stream, and you all get to spend time with your favorite hostess, Cinnamon. Oh, God. My sister, by the way, changed my nickname. It gave me a nickname. She went ahead and changed it to where she now calls me Cinnamon on Facebook Messenger. Thank you so much, sis. My running gag doesn't even leave me be after the camera is off. Just one of them things. So, all right, so that does bring us to our usual stopping point. Thank you all so much for being here with me. I know we've seen so many wonderful people come into the live stream, and spend time with us and hang out and talk about some of the current events and how it all relates to my sobriety. You guys are amazing. Letting me open up and share and be real with you all. Kind of a heads up. We will be live through the weekend as much as we can be. I'm back to working 6 days a week right now. Thank goodness it's not 7 days a week, but I'm back to working 6 days a week, which is going to be a rough show. So I'm going to have to buckle down and do what I can. We may have to cut some live streams short. I'm going to have to take care of me in the meantime. Second week of September, we will be taking. Yeah, I'm wondering if she's okay. I know she's had some company in and out lately, so she may not have been able to to come into the live. And I know that when she finds out that she missed tonight's live stream, she'll probably be a little upset about that. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, it's just not the same without Queen Bee in here, giving everybody, giving me a little grief and getting on to me saying I'm grounded. She likes to ground me all the time. She grounds me all the time. So that is where that is at. I missed her tonight. Her and TFZ Gaming. I always like it when her and TFZ Gaming were in here. I always appreciate that. And Ian, he wasn't in here. Well, Ian doesn't come to the Sober Talk lives. He's just not a big fan of Sober Talk. So tomorrow I get a nice little hair trim, but we'll keep some length here. Big old ponytail. I remember one time I had a coworker lift up my ponytail and said, "Yep, it's true. Underneath every pony's tail is a is a horse's ass. Hi, honey. Hi, baby. What you doing, honey? We're getting ready to wind it down for the night, babe. I'm getting ready to go and goof off on the computer. Play around a little bit and see if we can't get some bugs worked out of it and get it set up how I want it set up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyhow, so I can get my Windows Movie Maker going again. So yeah, that is kind of what's going on. So we are at that stopping point, which I know Princess Faye will give me a call, make sure I didn't get into too much trouble. Uh-oh. How many times I got to tell you, honey, that thing doesn't have a solar panel built into it. I give her so much crap about that. Phone's dying. Phone's dying. It's sick. That's how the battery feels right now. Anyhow, I'm still at it. So tomorrow, heads up, we will, there should be, I think that's going to be the plan where tomorrow's live stream, I get my hair cut. That'll be cool, won't it? Snip, snip, snip. Snippity snip. It won't be short, though. All righty. So that brings us to our usual stopping point. Thank you all again for being here with me and spending time with me. I loves you, honey. Normally, I know we do, again, for those of you who are, it doesn't have a solar panel yet. We can actually do that. There's actual panels out there that you can hook in that are solar. Yeah, we can do that actually. So, yet. Yeah, that's a key word. What, Galaxy? She's just talking up a storm tonight. But anyhow, that brings us to our usual stopping point. Traditional sober talk ending. Traditional sober talk ending for the evening goes like this. At day's end, I hope all of you need me as much as I need every last one of you. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you. You want to tell them thank you, Galaxy?